Welcome back to Out of the Rough. I'm with Michael Crain. Michael Crain with Smart Business Evolution, and Michael's a frequent guest on our show, yes. Out of the Rough. And I want to talk about what is this dealing with your Newman you talk about with your clients?
Well, it's a funny title, but it's a serious subject. You remember the show Seinfeld, right?
Yes.
He had a nemesis, and his nemesis was?
Newman,
right.
A guy was going to get him.
Right, absolutely. And while Newman was a fictional character, I think all of us would agree that we have people in our life that we would quantify as a Newman because they are difficult to us.
Challenging to us?
Yeah, absolutely.
And how do you deal with that situation? How do you break it down so that you can deal with difficult people?
Well, I would say first start off understanding their needs and fears. But before I get into that, may I say this, 18% of the population love for their life to be difficult, and they want to make everybody else's life difficult too. So there's certain people that no matter what you do, they're going to find a way to be difficult because that's their
18%.
quest. 18%.
So I'm going to be friends with the remaining 82%.
Well, here's what's funny is because I'll have people come up to me and say, you know what, it's a whole lot more than 18%. I said, well, you're one of them. Right?
Right.
But beyond that, the needs and the fears of different personalities are what produce their behaviors that we sometimes find difficult. And if I could, there are 4 basic personality styles. I mean, you could go into a little bit more depth than that, but there's basically 4. For example, one is the dominant personality. You know, they tend to be
A-type.
The A-type personality. They tend to be a driver, they're ego-driven, and they can be difficult to us. But it really helps when we're trying to deal with an A-type personality, a dominant style, is to understand what's really fueling their behavior. For example, their primary fear is being taken advantage of. Okay, that's they filter the world. They filter every interaction through the lens that people are out to try to take advantage of. Now, there's different degrees. You can have a low level of that to someone who's got an extreme paranoia about that. But that fear produces a need to control. So if you're working with someone who is an A-type personality and you're finding them difficult, you need to find a way to give them some sense of control, because the more that you try to micromanage them, the more difficult they're going to become.
And the further apart you're going to get.
Absolutely.
And understanding that fear that they have, because it's about fear. People make decisions when they're very uncomfortable or they have fear.
Absolutely.
And that's what you're breaking it down to.
It's a dominant factor to their personality.
So dominant, some of us extroverts?
Yeah, absolutely. That would be the next one, extroverts. And you can have a blend of all 4 of these. You had Scott Zeddy on, I think, last time, and he talked about this as well and did a great job with it. But there are people who have an extrovert personality. They tend to be optimistic and outgoing. You seem to see their teeth a lot because they smile a lot. They're great people.
Right.
But they also can be difficult sometimes because they have a fear too, and their fear is rejection. So when you go to give them some corrective criticism, it's a difficult task for them to really understand. And that fear, of course, being rejected, they want to be accepted. So anytime that you start getting into them and say, hey, there's a couple things I need you to change, it's really difficult for them because they really feel like you're starting to alienate them, and they hate that.
So if they're upset with you, you want to do something that's going to make them feel a part of whatever it is you want them to be a part of. Be accepted.
Right. Well, here's what happens. You take an A-dominant personality style, right, a business owner, who goes to the extrovert who's great with customers, and now the A-dominant personality is going to go to them and say, hey, you need to change this. You're just going to crater that personality. Now, don't get me wrong. We have to address concerns, but it's how you address it. First, you give them a compliment. Tell them what they do right and be genuine about them. Be specific about those compliments, and then go into the 2 or 3 areas that they need to transform.
And so we talked about dominant, extrovert. Some people are guarded.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Well, with the guardian type personality, you know, these are the people that are very stable and consistent, and they're loyal. I mean, they're tried and true, and they do the same thing every day the exact same way. And that in itself is a great asset for a lot of business owners.
They love routine.
Absolutely. Well, here you go. Their biggest fear is change. They have to have routine. So your small request, you know, you have a working relationship and you make it what you think is a small change request, you have to remember that small change request that you're making rocks their sense of stability. So give them some time to adjust.
And let them be a part of any change you want to create.
Right. And know they're going to resist it, but yes, let them be a part of it.
Yeah, yeah. And last but not least, detail thinkers.
right?
Engineers?
Well, a lot of engineers, a lot of people in accounting. This is, typically accounting doesn't get along with salespeople and vice versa. They may like each other somewhat, but when they try to work together, they tend to have difficulties. And it's because the detail-minded person wants all the details and wants it done a specific time. And here's the reason why. They have a fear of making a mistake. That's why they need all the details, all the facts, and they want it in a timely fashion. So when a salesperson or a business owner or whoever it is, just tries to say, hey, just go with it. You got to understand what it's doing to their psyche. They're afraid that just going with it is going to create a colossal mistake.
Yeah, and they're not good at winging it.
No, they're not.
They're
and
not.
that's a good thing. Can you imagine if salespeople took over the accounting office? Yeah, that'd be a mess.
That's why you got to have the right people in the right chairs at the right time.
Play to their strengths, right? But when you need to make adjustments, understand the fears that they have.
Great stuff. Good stuff. Michael Crain, the Michael Crain, Smart Business Evolution website.
Yeah, smartbusinessevolution.com.
And you can sign up for the minute, the Michael Minute. What do you
absolutely.
specifically call that so I don't mess it up?
It's all right. It's called Smart Minute. Every week we produce what we call a Smart Minute. It's a minute or two of relevant teaching to help you build even greater results. It's a very quick jolt of good intelligence to help you grow your business.
Simon, thanks again. Well, I hope you enjoyed this segment of Out of the Rough. If you'd like to watch this online, go to scvtv.com or fredarnold.com. If you'd like to shoot me a message and have a special guest like Michael or ask a question of our guest, email me at fred@fredarnold.com. Until we talk again, make it a great day, and I hope this helps get you out of the rough. Good job.